Do you want to make your Zobo last longer without refrigerated? Or do you want to start a budget-friendly Zobo business? Then you need to watch this video all the way through to the end. Here are the overview of all the ingredients I'll be using to make my Zobo drink. First of all, I have my Zobo leaf and I'm using the big petals of Zobo leaf, and in there I have half pint of Zobo leaf. And the next thing I'm using is ginger, and this is the amount of ginger I'll be using. I also have cloves, and that is 5 tablespoons of cloves. Next I'll be talking about is my flavor. So I'll be using this as my flavor. These are alternative flavor to natural fruit, and this flavor also can serve as your flavor and sweetener. It comes in watermelon, orange, apple and pineapple, and this flavor are very affordable. A sachet costs about 100 naira to 150 in my area, so you can use this. The next thing I'll be using is my sorghum leaf. It is also popularly called poro. So I'll be using this for my Zobo leaf because some people complain about the color of your Zobo not coming out very well. So the poro will help for that. The next thing I'll be using is my preservative, and I'm using sodium benzoate. So sodium benzoate is what I'll be using as my preservative, and if you want to see how I use it, watch this video all the way through to the end. So the next thing is to start the preparation of my Zobo. So I'm going to go ahead and wash my Zobo leaf, but first I will divide the Zobo into two. So I'm going to start with one part, then I'll boil the other part later. So after washing my Zobo, I'm going to add my Zobo into a pot of hot steaming water. So after adding my Zobo, I'm just going to cover this, allow this to just steam together for few minutes. So after some minutes, I'm going to go ahead and add my washed sorghum leaf, that is the poro. Then the next thing I'm adding now is my cloves and ginger. I crush everything together. So you can use mortar to crush that or blend everything together. Then we are going to cover this and allow this to boil. So after boiling my Zobo for some minutes, then the Zobo is already boiling. So this is the first boiling I am doing. So the next thing, I'm going to sieve out this Zobo. That is, I'll take out all the water from the Zobo. So once this is done, the next thing I am going to do is the shaft that is inside that sieve, I am going to transfer it back to my pot and add more water to it, and we are going to be reboiling this Zobo again for the second time. So what I did, I divided my Zobo, so I had a little bit of more Zobo leaf to that again, and we are going to be boiling it. This is the second time, so we are going to be boiling this together the second time. So after boiling this again for some minutes, you can see what I have. So I'm going to take this out again, and I'm still going to repeat this same process of boiling the third time again. So I'm going to repeat the same process again for the third time. So I had some water and I'm going to cover this, allow this to boil. After boiling this for some minutes, this is what I have. If you pay a very close attention to this, you realize that this time around the Zobo leaf is already getting lighter. So this means that I won't be reboiling this again. So what I'm going to do is just to discard everything. We are not going to reboil again. So the next thing I'm doing, remember I divided my Zobo. So the last part of the Zobo is what I am boiling now. So I go ahead and add some pineapple peel. I have some at home that I dry. So that is what I had. Then I cover this to boil for some minutes. So after boiling for some minutes, this is what I have. Can you see how concentrated the water look? So I'm going to go ahead and add this Zobo to the rest of the Zobo that I have been boiling. And I won't be boiling this again. I'm just boiling this just only once because I want the color of my Zobo to be intact. And can you see the color that I was able to achieve? Even though you don't know how to boil Zobo, just follow this process. It's so easy. So you're going to go ahead and cover this, allow this to cool down a little bit before the next step. So this is my Zobo. I've allowed it to cool down a little bit, but it's still warm and I can still work with it like this. So I'm just going to get a cheesecloth and I'm going to sieve my Zobo through the cheesecloth for the final time. It's very important to sieve your Zobo because you realize that there are still some dirt inside and you will not want that to go into your Zobo production. So for this Zobo, this is half pint of Zobo, and I boil this with 15 to 17 liters of water. That is the total water I use for this particular half pint. Another thing I want to say, in a situation you are not using the sorghum leaf, because the sorghum leaf also help with the color too as well. If you are not using that sorghum, that is the poro, just boil with 10 liters of water and that will be fine as well. So after sieving my Zobo, this is what I have. So I transfer it back into the bucket that I was using earlier. If you are here to subscribe to my YouTube channel, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, because on this channel I share amazing recipe that you are going to love. Moving on, I'm going to go ahead and add my preservative, my flavor. I also have additional sweetener. The white sugar is optional. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to measure out my preservative. So for my preservative, I use half tablespoon to half pint of Zobo leaf. So I'm just going to add a little bit of water just to dissolve my preservative. Once you dissolve your preservative completely, then you are going to go ahead and add your preservative to your Zobo drink and make sure you stir everything together. So you stir that together and that's it. So next I'm going to go ahead and prepare my flavor. So for my flavor, I'm going to combine everything inside a bowl, and this is what each of the flavor look like. So after adding all my flavor, I'm going to go ahead and add water to this and mix this together. You are going to mix this together until everything dissolved. So once everything dissolves completely, before adding this into your Zobo drink, you first of all mix this with some Zobo drink first. That is what I'm doing. I had a little bit of Zobo to mix it, and the reason I'm doing this is to prevent the flavor to change the color of my Zobo. So I'm still going to add more Zobo to it and dissolve everything together. Then I'll go ahead and add this to my Zobo drink. So I'll go ahead and add my flavor now. Then I'm going to stir this together. So can you see that after adding my flavor, the color of my Zobo did not change? That is the reason why I dissolve it with some Zobo before adding it. So next I'm going to taste this, if this needs additional sweetener. So after tasting this, I realized that I don't need to add that additional sweetener. Remember I said the sweetener is optional, but if you feel like adding more sweetener to yours, you can go ahead and add your sweetener. My beautiful people, this is how to make a budget-friendly Zobo if you don't have budget for the natural fruits. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to bottle my Zobo. The total cost of this Zobo cost me about 8,000 naira plus the bottle, because each dozen of those bottles is sold in my area for 900 naira. If you have any question you want to ask me, please leave it in the comment section. I also have other varieties of Zobo recipe on my YouTube channel. I'll leave the link in the description box. You can check that as well. And if you really enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and share this video too as well. And if you are here to subscribe, turn on your notification bell so that when next I drop a new video, you will be notified. After bottling my Zobo, this is what I have. I think the size of this bottle is 35 cl, and the price of this size here is sold between 300 naira and 500 naira, while the big bottle is sold for 800 naira to 1000 naira. That is the 50 ml bottle. So that is the price range over here in my area. So my beautiful people, till I come your way in my next video, keep believing in yourself. Bye bye guys, and thank you for watching.